Welcome everyone. Welcome to this session on Gradeup. We have with us someone called Mahira. Now you ask what has she done that makes her come here and talk to us. She has got 90th rank in CLAT 2021. Isn't that great? So Mahira, congratulations on getting this fabulous rank. How do you feel? And I have a question. What did you do to celebrate it?
First of all, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I think I feel elated, but elated is a very small word. It is very difficult to put into words how I feel.
I'm sure.
It is a huge achievement. I always thought of getting a good rank, but this good, it was beyond my expectations also. Celebration, well, the greatest reward was getting the rank. I couldn't have asked for anything more. There have been a lot of celebrations. We have been going to a lot of places. For the first time in probably 2 years, I have been sleeping till late.
Okay.
And you know, a lot of things that people my age do generally, I hadn't done them in 2 years almost, 2 years of my preparation. So I've been doing all of that, eating out. So yes, and the result has been declared barely a week ago, so the celebrations are still going on. Another very good way of celebrating was being invited to this interview. It is such an honor, sir, to be invited here.
That's definitely an honor to us as well. I mean, we at Gradeup as a family are extremely proud of what you have achieved, right? Now, very pertinent question. Why did you choose law? I mean, you are a bright student. You could have gone for any other stream, but why law?
I think it was the subject we were taught in school, political science, that spoke to me very differently. I had a very inherent interest in politics, and it was around 11th grade that I started to really understand politics, really try to analyze the political situation in our country. Now, law is a subject that allows me to professionally study this subject. Now, we can study pol science, we can study politics, but I think to really make a change in the political situation, you have to understand the law. And the deep intricacies of law, the constitution, it really speaks to me differently. That is why I decided to pursue law. I still do not have a very clear end target to my preparation, but I just knew that if I had to pursue something, if I had to study something, it just had to be law.
Looking at your answer, it very clearly shows that you are thinking at a level which is higher than your age is. Don't you get that kind of compliments from people that probably you think a little above your age or maybe a little mature than what people of your age generally do?
I
This
do.
world, yes.
I do, which is a compliment when it comes from grown-up and mentors. It is not so much a compliment when
From
it
your
comes from
friends?
my friends.
I understand that.
And
yes.
it has been, it has been said to me as a compliment, sometimes as an insult the others. But yes, I do get that a lot.
So when did you start preparing for CLAT? When did it start really?
I have always been interested in public affairs, what goes on around me, what goes in the country. I think it was in 10th when I started to, as I said earlier, I started to get involved in the subject of political science, of SST, civics, history. And I started to get very interested in the historical background of our country. The more emphasis on how the constitution was formed, the independence movement and all of that. So I think that before I formally joined an institution and I officially started my preparation, I feel like I've been preparing for this for a very long time. And it was in 11 that I got hold of this journal, this book. It was a thick book about constitution and constitutional intricacies. And in my free time, I would just find myself flipping through those pages. And I got a lot of weird looks from my friends that who studies constitution in their free time. It was in 12th grade that I joined this institution to formally start studying for law, for CLAT. And I think it was in February 2020 that my official preparation started.
Okay, so let me put it like this. Those who are watching this interview and want to learn from your experience, that the formal preparation started maybe a little late, but you had always been preparing for this career maybe for a long time by reading a lot. What I can clearly see is that you have been reading for a long time, and I think the way CLAT has changed, that does matter now a lot more. Would you agree to that?
Definitely. for the better or the worse, that is for you to decide. But I think reading is a very, very important component of CLAT. CLAT is not a very undoable exam. It's not something you will flunk. It is not something that, it is not engineering exams or medical exams. It is doable. You can do it, but it requires a very specific skill set. And now I would say that the skill set, it revolves around reading. Because this time also you can see the questions weren't that difficult. But if you're not able to reach the question only, if you're stuck reading the earlier questions only, then your attempts are going to be very low. So reading, it is definitely very important, and a lot of us dismiss reading as something we've been doing since children. We confuse it with pleasure reading, but that is not it. It is a skill that took me, I've always been an avid reader, and it took me an year to develop. It takes that time. So I think it is very important to put a lot of emphasis on reading, even when it comes to maths. Maths is not something we think would have reading, but this time the questions itself, they were so long.
The questions were paragraph based. So
even maths, who would have seen that coming? So I think reading is very essential, and everybody should put their 100% on learning to read fast, and you should do it as soon as possible.
So did COVID as it has in fact impacted everything that we do, did it impact your preparation also?
It did hugely. For better or worse, again, now I've gotten a good college, so obviously I'll say for the better. But it is, I am not the kind of person who is very good at maintaining social connections online. So it was a challenge to do the preparation in isolation. I know for a fact, had we had physical classes, I would have interacted with a lot of people, a lot of mentors. But this time it was online. Mostly it was just a one-way connection with the mentor doing all the talking. So I think that part was a little difficult to deal with. And when you're doing it in isolation, you don't have a lot of people to celebrate your highs with, your lows with. That has surely been a challenge. I would say my family, my mother and my sister, they have been very helpful in this. I involved them in my preparation. For the children studying now, I would suggest involve somebody in your preparation, because if you're doing it in isolation, you'll be very unmotivated. There'll be nobody to pull you out of your lows.
I think that's a very, very insightful comment that you just made, that having somebody at home who you can rely on, or who you can go and confide into, that okay, I'm not doing well or I am doing well, I think that will make a lot of difference.
I understand that not everybody has somebody at home they can discuss it with. Maybe have a friend, somebody. It is very important to have somebody involved other than you. You feel like you're just going to study in silence and you're let the success make the noise. I think that's just a quote. You need to involve somebody. It's a teamwork.
So did you have a very precise routine, as in like I would get up at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning or something like that, a routine, or was it target-based study? Because those who are watching, obviously they would want to know, how did you really manage or pull it off?
Okay, so there has been a very common notion in all Indian households that you wake up early, you wake up at 5, 6, 7, study the entire day. That is going to, it's going to help you crack CLAT. I'm going to be very honest, I haven't been a morning person. I never got up before 9:30 at times. And it worked well for me. I think that I have trouble sticking to schedules if I make them, that I have to study from this hour to this hour. It does not work for me. So instead what I do is, I decide that today I'll do these many chapters of maths, this much current affairs, this much legal. Now if I want to study for 6 hours without a break, or maybe I want to study 30-minute breaks, so that is up to me. That is decided by how I feel on that day, what events I have lined up. So my schedule, I would say it was very flexible. I would just decide on a daily target that by the end of tonight, I have to complete this. I feel like a lot of us make very rigid schedules, and if we miss something by even an hour, then our entire schedule is ruled, because there is no space for error. I would say that is a mistake many people make, and once you break your schedule, you will be very demotivated to study after that. So keep it flexible, and if you miss something one day, it's all right. You have an entire year to prepare.
So let me understand what you just said. From a common student's perspective, what you're saying is that in place of having a schedule which says 6 to 7, study law, legal reasoning, and 7 to 7:15 break, 7:15 to 8:15 you study logical reasoning. In place of that, you have targets. Study legal reasoning, do maybe 5 sets of legal reasoning or 20 questions of critical reasoning. That is a better approach. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what exactly you did.
Yeah.
And I believe you are not one of those kids who needs to be told by parents and all to study. You have been self-motivated mostly, correct? So,
At times, I have been asked, maybe even scolded to study,
okay.
but that has not been the scenario most of the times.
So I can again put it like this, that you need not be born genius. Even if you are a reasonably motivated student, you can crack this exam with reasonable amount of study.
Definitely.
It is not that you have to be a born Milkha Singh to win the race. You can be a normal student and still manage it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I feel like it is a very doable exam, and if it requires something that is endurance, just you need to study. I would say if you feel like you're going to crack this exam in 1 month, it is not going to happen.
Right.
Spend an year, maybe don't even study 13, 14 hours a day. Study as what is best for you, figure out your weaknesses, just keep doing something the whole year.
That brings me to the next question. Did you have strong and weak areas?
Definitely. I think everybody has strong and weak areas, but it takes time to figure out, because this is a new format for us, this is a new syllabus for us, and this is the kind of advantage it will give you if you put in an year or 2 years of preparation. Because figuring out weaknesses and strong points, it takes time.
So what was your weakest area?
Weakest area, well, it kept changing as my syllabus went further, as I went better. I saw that maybe my English, which I thought was good, is not as good now.
Okay.
So you keep discovering new areas. I think one area that has always been a little weak link in my preparation, that has been maths. Because I am a law student, and all law students know that we are not huge fans of maths. If we were, we would have taken commerce. So maths has always been a weak link. But then CLAT has simplified maths so much that you don't have to, this is not RD Sharma that you have to complete. Just do reasonable amount of preparation for that. Maybe score an 11 or 12 out of 15. That is reasonable too. But I see a lot of children thinking that they can completely skip on that section, not do maths at all, and that is the biggest mistake you can make. Because this is not school that you get 95% or 98%, you're still getting an award from the school. I got, my rank was 90 and I got Nalsar. And the last person to get Bangalore, they got a rank of 75. And I got 103.25, rank 75, they got 104.25. 1 mark and I missed Bangalore. Now I don't have any regrets about it, I'm more than happy with Nalsar. But this is the difference 1 mark can make, and you're planning on leaving a whole 15 marks. So if you are planning on that, maybe leave one topic from maths, but the entire section, don't do that.
That's, I think, is a very important suggestion or piece of advice that you just gave to the students. I think that's done by probably 90% of the students. They just don't care about that section, and that can make or break their chances. They don't realize that. So if I ask, did you do more preparation as CLAT became nearer? For example, the last 2 weeks, did you prepare more, or did you relax and you were like, okay, now I'm prepared mentally probably, and let me just relax and not really worry too much about it? What was your strategy exactly? 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the paper?
Actually, I started studying more. I think I did a big chunk of my studies right before the exams. With the syllabus that I had decided, it was actually completed way in advance. So I had a lot of time, and I think I panicked a little, which was very wrong. It did very bad for my mental health, my mental peace. I think I panicked a little and I started looking for current affairs compendiums everywhere. I came across so many compendiums, and there are compendiums for 500 pages, 600 pages, and I tried to do all of that. It was not very beneficial. I would say if you're going to do extra study, talk to your mentor and figure out a workable plan. Don't try to do everything under the sun, because that is not possible.
Right.
So I
So
would.
that
Mhm.
brings me to another question, which is very important. Probably you already know because you have written the paper. More than 50% students who are preparing for CLAT, they don't write even a single mock. How important do you think mocks are, and what did you do, especially about mocks?
Not writing mocks is probably the biggest mistake you can make.
Right.
If your preparation isn't 100%, if it is 90%, and you still give mocks, I would say you still have a very good chance at NLUs.
Okay.
But if your preparation is 200% and you have not written a single mock,
Okay.
I would say your chances are very bleak. People really underestimate the important role mocks play.
All right.
I attempted 90 mocks, CLAT and ELIT combined.
90. Did you say 90?
Yes, 90. And
did you fill the OMR sheets also? Because
yes,
that takes up a lot of
yes, definitely try on OMR. It is very easy to mess up the OMR, and once you've even touched your pen on the wrong dot,
time.
that's done.
Yes.
So I think it is very important to practice on OMR, as annoying as it may seem. Please do that. And writing mocks. See, I didn't find a lot of children said that the paper was lengthy. I didn't find it lengthy because I had attempted so many mocks from so many varied sources. I had attempted mocks which were smaller than this one, mocks which were even more lengthy than this one.
So your experience was very wide, so naturally you found it okay. Yeah. On the final day it was okay, it was not something out of the blue.
Yes, definitely. And even when I was attempting the paper, I was initially very hesitant, I was taking a lot of time. And then I decided this is just another mock. And then it was a breeze. So I think attempting mocks is very important, and especially when Gradeup offers such a huge range of mocks. I mean, even I couldn't attempt the entire mock series because there are so many. So I think if you're attempting 3-4 mocks a day, that's very reasonable. At one point in my preparation for I think a month, I was attempting one mock every day. So the more mocks you can attempt, it's going to ramp up your rank by a huge margin.
So I think you already expect the question, and we are very curious to know, did we help? How did Gradeup help you? Because we are really looking forward to knowing the answer, so that we can of course help more students accordingly. So how did we help you really?
So before telling how Gradeup specifically helped me, I would say that how important it is to take coaching from somewhere. Because the CLAT syllabus, it is very huge, and it is not engineering or medical that there's a set syllabus, you do this, इसमें से questions आ जाएंगे. It is very huge. Absolutely. Current affairs, it is basically everything under the sun. True. It will never get completed. So you need somebody to show you the way, how to study, the path, yes. So I think that is why coaching plays a huge role. Now Gradeup. Firstly, I would really like to commend the test series they have. I have not seen such a non-exhaustive list of test series anywhere, and I subscribe to a lot of institutions. So I think the mocks, I would say the CLAT mocks, they were very close to what the actual paper was. The level of current affairs, the size of the passages even in English. I think maths was unexpected this time, but Gradeup in general, it had very varied question in maths also, and it wasn't very difficult, very easy. I would say the level was very much like what came in the actual paper. So I think in mocks it was very easy. Then during the last days, I think there were these marathons for almost every subject being held by Gradeup. So I was, when I told I was panicking and it was really making me nervous, so I would just play those marathons and I would have them playing in front of me and I would just sit and watch. While I was done with the syllabus, it was really good to have a quick recap of everything. True. And it gives you a lot of confidence. Correct. So that, and I think the Gradeup faculty is very good. I think I really like the grievance redressal system because all my doubts were answered by mentors and in such a huge detail. I was never expecting such a prompt response or such a good response. So I think that in that way Gradeup really helped me.
Okay. So points noted, of course. I mean, we are really glad to know that what we tried to do really helped you. So I think now you are at a position where you can do something very beautiful, and that is you can show the path to others. Now, any word of wisdom for those who are anxiously trying for CLAT 2022 or even 23? Now, 2 maybe or 3 points you think those guys, those who are preparing for next year, would want from you? What will you tell them?
सबसे पहले I would want every aspirant to know कि हो जाएगा, इतनी टेंशन मत लो. If you have been studying, if you've been honest to yourself, हो जाएगा, आप कर लोगे. Everybody needs to hear this. Then basically 3 things I would like to say. Listen to your mentors. Your mentors know how you've been studying. They've been in this field for a lot of time. And we all get angry at our teachers. We all feel like they don't make a lot of sense. But listen to them anyway. No matter how angry you are, take a break, but listen to them. वो कभी गलत नहीं बता रहे हैं, and you really need that guidance right now. Don't use your discretion on a lot of things. Then second, attend your classes. Nobody wants to attend 3-hour, 4-hour classes, and we all get sick of it. Do it anyway. You'll get used to it. You do it for 1 year, for 2 years, and then you get used to it. पूरे दिन का break ले लो, पर वो एक class attend कर लेना. It will make all the difference. And third advice, I'm sure you've been hearing this from everywhere. Read. Read as much as you can. There's no upper limit to it. Read Hindu editorials, current affairs compendiums. Read all you can. Develop a reading speed. And once again, हो जाएगा.
That punchline is awesome. Okay, so last question, Mahira. Next, or maybe first female Chief Justice of India. What's your future plan?
Chief Justice of India, see...
Female.
Yeah, female Chief Justice of India. See, the thing is, in this country, we've had a female Prime Minister, we've had a female President.
Right.
But we all know that that was just ceremonial. Okay. We just write it and we feel a lot of pride. But we all know what the situation is in our country. The system needs to change. It's not about one position.
So what is Mahira's plan? What will she do?
My plan will be to work on the system rather than, working on these glass ceilings and glass rooftops. I do not have a very concrete plan as of yet. I intend to explore the industry. I intend to find my niche. But I would say that I would very much like to contribute as a woman, as a female in this country. We all know the situation. I would like to contribute to the system and really work on the grassroots rather than working on the top, so that the female lawyers after me, the women in the judiciary, in the legal system after me, they don't have to face the problems that I did. I intend to leave the legal system of this country better for the women that come after me.
That's I think a terrific dream, and of course we here and everybody else wish that you achieve that. Thank you so much for being here with us, coming all the way from a far off place, and thank you so much for doing everything that you did and making your family Gradeup and everybody else who knows you proud. Thank you so much, Mahira. All those of you watching this interview, I hope you get inspired by what Mahira has done and you achieve even more than what she has been able to. Join Gradeup. If you have watched this interview, I hope you would join Gradeup and be part of this journey. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this.